Mr. Harris was a man whose life had been defined by simplicity. A 47-year-old high school history teacher, he had spent over 2 decades teaching in the same small town where he was born. To many, he seemed like an ordinary man, gray streaks running through his hair, his glasses slightly bent at the rim, his clothes modest but always neatly pressed. What most didn't know was how deeply he cared for his students, how he stayed up late grading their papers, writing encouraging notes in the margins, and sometimes even buying lunch for those who couldn't afford it. Yet for all his passion and selflessness, Mr. Harris struggled financially. His salary barely covered his expenses, and his house, an old family property passed down from his late parents, had begun to show its age. The roof leaked in the rainy season, the wooden stairs creaked under the slightest weight, and 2 of the bedrooms remained unused, filled with dust and the faint scent of old books. That evening, he sat at his worn-out wooden table, staring at a stack of bills. The electric company had sent another notice, his car insurance was due, and he had only $23 left in his checking account. His heart felt heavy as he rubbed his tired eyes. I've given everything to this town, to my students, and yet, I can't even keep my own home steady, he whispered to himself. After a long pause, he opened his laptop, a slow, outdated machine that groaned every time it booted up. With a sigh, he clicked on a local website where people posted small rental ads. He hesitated for a while before typing. Room for rent. Quiet home. Affordable. Perfect for students. It felt strange. Renting out a part of his home meant giving up privacy, but he had little choice. When he pressed post, he didn't expect much. Maybe someone would see it in a few weeks. Maybe not. But within hours, his phone buzzed with a notification. A message. Hello, sir. My name is Emily. I'm a college student looking for a place to stay this semester. Your home seems perfect. Is the room still available? Mr. Harris blinked in surprise. He quickly typed back, trying to be professional but polite. Yes, it's available. When would you like to see it? Her reply came almost instantly. Tonight, if possible. His heart skipped. Tonight. That was so sudden. He glanced at the clock. It was nearly 6. He hurried upstairs to the unused bedroom. Dust coated the window sill, and the bed frame groaned when he pressed on it. He opened the curtains, letting in the fading golden light of evening, then quickly wiped down the shelves with an old rag. He found a vase, filled it with water, and placed a few flowers he had picked from his garden. For a moment, standing there, he smiled. Not perfect, he murmured, but it will do. As twilight fell, Mr. Harris sat on the porch, waiting. He imagined a young woman arriving in an old car packed with boxes. Perhaps she would be shy, nervous about moving in with a stranger. He rehearsed what he would say. Be polite. Be reassuring. Don't make her uncomfortable. But then, something unexpected happened. A low rumble filled the air, distant at first, then growing louder. Mr. Harris frowned and looked up at the dusky sky. At first, he thought it was just a plane passing overhead, but the sound grew sharper, closer, until the windows of his old house rattled. What on earth? He muttered, standing. Above the trees, lights cut through the sky, and then he saw it. A private jet descending toward the small town's airstrip a few miles away. His jaw slackened. Private jets never came here. The airstrip was usually quiet, only used for crop dusting planes or the occasional medical helicopter. Confused, he shook his head. Surely this had nothing to do with him. But, within minutes, the hum of tires against gravel announced the arrival of a sleek black car. It rolled smoothly down the narrow country road and stopped right in front of his house. Mr. Harris froze, his heart thundering. The driver, dressed in a sharp suit, stepped out and walked to the back door. He opened it, and out stepped a young woman. Emily. She didn't look like what Mr. Harris expected. No expensive gown, no flashy jewelry. She wore simple jeans, white sneakers, and a soft gray sweater. Her brown hair was tied back in a loose ponytail, and her face carried a natural, almost humble expression. Despite her casual appearance, there was a certain grace about her, the kind of quiet confidence that only comes from a life lived differently than most. Mr. Harris? She asked, her voice warm and polite. Yes, that's me, he stammered, still bewildered. You came in a private jet. Emily gave a small, almost apologetic smile. Yes. My family thought it would be safer and faster. But please, don't let that bother you. I'm here for school, nothing else. I just want a quiet place to stay, away from all that. She gestured vaguely toward the sleek car. The driver silently unloaded 2 suitcases and set them by the porch. With a respectful nod, he returned to the vehicle. The car pulled away, leaving behind only a faint trail of dust on the country road. For a moment, Mr. Harris stood frozen, struggling to process everything. He had expected an ordinary student, perhaps someone with second-hand clothes and an old backpack. Instead, standing before him was a girl who had just stepped off a private jet, and yet she was asking to live in his humble, creaky house. Please, Emily said softly, her eyes kind. May I see the room? Yes, of course, come in, Mr. Harris finally managed, his voice still shaky. He picked up her bags. They were surprisingly heavy, and carried them inside. As Emily entered, she looked around with genuine interest, not disdain. The old wooden floors, the faded wallpaper, the worn-out furniture, none of it seemed to bother her. She smiled as though she found it charming. It's cozy, she said warmly. Mr. Harris felt a wave of relief. It's not much, but I hope it's comfortable enough. Emily nodded. It's perfect. As she walked upstairs to see her room, Mr. Harris followed, still dazed. Questions swirled in his mind. Why would someone with her wealth choose to live here? Was this some kind of joke? Or was she truly different from what her background suggested? He didn't know the answer yet. But something deep inside told him, this girl's arrival was no coincidence. It was the beginning of something that would soon change both of their lives forever.